Hiro Onoda was a Japanese army intelligence officer who continued to fight World War II for several decades after the war had ended. In 1944, he was deployed to Lubang Island in the Philippines. Due to a series of miscommunications and the island being bypassed by Allied forces, Onoda and a small group of soldiers were unaware that the war had ended in 1945. Onoda remained hidden in the jungle and continued carrying out guerrilla activities, believing that he was still at war. He lived in extreme isolation for almost 29 years, surviving on limited resources and engaging in occasional skirmishes with local residents and authorities. In 1974, Onoda's former commanding officer traveled to the island and personally ordered him to surrender, providing him with official orders and documents that confirmed the end of World War II. It was only then that Onoda finally accepted that the war was over and laid down his arms. Onoda's case gained significant attention due to the remarkable duration of his isolation and his commitment to his beliefs. However, it's worth noting that there have been other instances throughout history where individuals have lived in prolonged isolation, such as hermits, explorers, or people who found themselves stranded in remote locations. Each case is unique and influenced by different circumstances. And if you want a video about them, just write a comment. Being alone with your thoughts can be daunting, as it often brings forth strong emotions. It doesn't come naturally to us. In fact, the fear of loneliness serves a purpose similar to the body's response to hunger. Just as hunger prompts us to get out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning to make a sandwich, loneliness urges us to fulfill our social needs. Our brains take care of us and discourage us from withdrawing too early because, historically, isolation was not beneficial. If you had told our ancestors from the tribe just yesterday that you didn't enjoy hunting, gathering berries, or any other communal activities, but instead wanted to become an esports player, you would have been fortunate if they simply ostracized you. More likely, they would have pelted you with stones to deter others from such ideas. Even something as basic as crafting a workbench becomes difficult when you're alone, as you risk being devoured by a zombie or spider without someone to watch your back. It may seem strangely natural, but this is how natural selection rewarded our ancestors for collaboration and building relationships to ensure survival. Being social has become ingrained in our biology. Our brains have evolved to be more attuned to recognizing other people's thoughts. People were born into groups with whom they typically stayed, such as siblings, for their entire lives. It was easier to acquire enough resources, stay safe and warm, or take care of offspring when together. Forming alliances and procreating with others were crucial for survival, even if they had different tastes, like listening to dubstep. And, of course, it was essential to avoid loneliness.
You look lonely.
Our bodies devised an unpleasant feeling known as social pain, a sort of early warning system to prevent us from isolating ourselves, watching anime endlessly, and neglecting our connections. Ignoring this warning could lead to being cast out from the safety of the communal caves and facing mammoths armed with nothing but sticks. Whether we like it or not, there are times in our lives where we find ourselves without company, without distractions, and without anyone to turn to. It can be a scary and uncomfortable experience, but it can also be a time for growth, self-discovery, and reflection. So let's dive into the concept of being alone and see what it can teach us about ourselves and the world around us. Is there really any point in being alone, and can we truly gain anything from time spent in isolation? Are there any benefits to being alone? What did Plato say about loneliness, and what is the balance in it? Loneliness is a central theme in the novel Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. As time passes, Crusoe's attitude towards his isolation evolves. He becomes increasingly self-reliant and develops survival skills. He learns to appreciate his solitary existence, finding a sense of freedom and independence in his newfound lifestyle. Crusoe's isolation on the island also allows him to reflect on his past actions and reconsider his priorities. Ultimately, Crusoe's experiences on the island teach him the value of companionship and the importance of human connection. When he finally encounters another human being, he appreciates their presence more deeply and recognizes the significance of social bonds. Spending time alone can be incredibly valuable for personal growth and self-discovery. In fact, it is often during moments of solitude that we are able to connect with ourselves in a way that is not possible when surrounded by others. When we are constantly surrounded by people, it can be easy to fall into the trap of relying on others to provide us with entertainment or companionship. However, when we are alone, we are forced to take responsibility for our own happiness. This can be a liberating experience, as we are free to pursue activities that truly bring us joy, without worrying about what others may think. People often experience loneliness for two main reasons. Firstly, various mental disorders or shyness can hinder individuals from fully enjoying social company. These barriers prevent them from engaging with others and can lead to feelings of isolation. Secondly, some people have a tendency to populate their lives with secondary characters, as if they were part of an unending performance, similar to the movie The Truman Show. We might not consciously realize this occurrence, and even if we do, we often keep it to ourselves as if it were a hidden secret. In such cases, people consciously choose to distance themselves from the chaos of human interaction, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that decision. Perhaps they lack friends or a romantic partner, and in such situations, it's challenging to pinpoint what could offer assistance. On the other hand, with social media and constant communication at our fingertips, it can feel like we are never truly alone. However, there is a growing movement that encourages people to embrace the benefits of solitude. But is there really any point in being alone? Can we truly gain anything from time spent in isolation? The answer is a resounding yes. One of the primary benefits of being alone is that it provides us with the opportunity to reflect on our thoughts and feelings. When we are constantly surrounded by people and distractions, it can be difficult to truly tune into our inner selves. However, when we spend time alone, we are forced to confront our thoughts and emotions head-on. This can be a challenging process, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. By taking the time to understand our own thought processes, we are able to better understand ourselves and our place in the world. When we are constantly surrounded by people and stimuli, it can be exhausting. However, when we take the time to step back and be alone, we allow ourselves to rest and recharge. This can be incredibly beneficial for our mental health, as it allows us to approach the world with renewed energy and clarity.
Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss an upload. And if you found this video informative and engaging, please give it a thumbs up. Remember that your support helps us continue to create content that educates and entertains our viewers.
Being single has its fair share of advantages beyond just having a well-built arm. There's the freedom that comes with loneliness. It grants you the freedom to make choices and take actions without the constraints imposed by others. Additionally, spending ample time alone can lead to deep introspection, contemplating one's own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Although sometimes, it would be more pleasant if instead of deep thoughts, a lovely person appeared with delicious food. In popular culture, there are many depictions of characters who embrace solitude and find fulfillment in being alone. One example is the character Tom Hanks plays in the movie Cast Away.
Yeah! Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
After being stranded on a deserted island for several years, his character develops a deep appreciation for the simple pleasures of life and learns to rely on his own resourcefulness and resilience. On the other hand, there are mundane tasks like trimming nails or taking out the trash that can be enjoyed when alone. Spending time with oneself can be both cherished and despised, as it is a subjective experience. It's a common misconception that loneliness is solely experienced by those who struggle with communication or social skills. In truth, regardless of who you are, there is always a part of you that considers yourself a work in progress. Seeking solace in being alone is not to be feared. What is truly worrisome is when you start avoiding your own company, as the party will eventually come to an end where you will be left with only yourself. However, loneliness, isolation, and feelings of alienation can lead to depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. It is essential to strike a balance between time spent alone and time spent in social interactions to maintain overall well-being. Okay, let's take a break. I know the amount of information might be overwhelming, so let's give you some time to rest. As the saying goes, balance is key in every aspect of life, including solitude. Personally, I'd rather be alone, sitting in a Bentley, than suffer in the midst of a chaotic circus. From my own experience, I've found it challenging to make new friends after the age of 40. In such cases, it's important to take care of the relationships we already have. And if friends are scarce, finding a fulfilling hobby and engaging in social circles can be a great alternative. These circles are often filled with cheerful and open-minded individuals, though some may initially give you skeptical looks or avoid conversations. Ultimately, the greatest adventures in life are worth nothing if we don't have anyone to share them with. Many philosophers, including Aristotle and Plato, recognized the importance of friendship. Aristotle viewed friendship as a significant part of a larger concept of goodness and happiness. True male friendship, in particular, was highly valued and respected in their time. It's truly beautiful to witness such friendships in today's world, where time is often scarce. It's important to remember that everyone has their own path in life, and their needs and preferences may differ. Sometimes, loneliness can provide clarity and understanding, but it's essential not to let it escalate into isolation. Thank you for watching, and if you're looking to know what groupthink is, how it influences our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, or want to know about the Asch conformity experiment, you can watch this video. And remember, pumping brains will help you to become your best version.